You know that question brown people get all the time? The question of, where are you really from? Not just, where are you from? But the question that comes with the raised eyebrow, like, you couldn't possibly be from here. That's the perpetual foreigner stereotype. And unfortunately, it's something that's been ingrained into our society. And no matter how long our families have been here, nor does it matter if we were born here, we're treated like outsiders in our own home. And what's crazy is, this question can come at the most random times. At work, at school, or even a barbecue with friends. It's subtle, but it hits hard. Because it tells us that we're always going to be seen as different. Like you can contribute to society, but you'll never be fully a part of it. How messed up is that? See, on the surface, it looks harmless. A question, a stereotype. Maybe a joke about 7-Eleven workers or taxi drivers. Or like, oh, is that your dad? Is that your cousin? But underneath, it tells us something deeper. That people have decided who we are before we even speak. That we're boxed into roles. The laborer, the shopkeeper, the hard worker, but never a leader. And for some people, it gets linked to fear. The immigrants are taking our jobs, our housing, as if our presence is a threat rather than a contribution. But let's pause here. Where do these fears actually come from? Most of the time, they're not based on facts. They're based on narratives. Narratives pushed by politics, by the media, by stereotypes that get repeated so often, they start to become the narrative and the truth, or at least sound like it. And see, it's easier for people to blame the brown neighbor rather than question the system itself. It's easier to mock a taxi driver's accent rather than think about the sacrifices that they've had to make to come to this country and to start a new life. But here's the thing, these stereotypes box brown people into one-dimensional characters. And when you're seen as a stereotype first, there's not much space left for humanity. Here's the thing, most of us, our parents, our grandparents, our friends, our neighbors, they all came here not to take, but to build, to work, to pay taxes, to raise kids, to contribute to society and the community. And with that, we bring our food, our music, our traditions, our faith. But that's not something that weakens society. It's something that makes it richer. And yet the irony is that even while we're contributing, we're told that we don't belong. Like, think about it. Brown immigrants aren't sitting on the sideline. They're part of the core of what makes this society what it is. We're part of the everyday rhythm of this place. And when people eat curry on a Friday night or listen to brown artists on Spotify, they're celebrating our culture. But when they see us at the supermarket or applying for the same job as them, suddenly we're outsiders again. And this pick and choose attitude towards brown identity is honestly exhausting. Don't you feel that way too? And let's not forget something crucial here. A lot of brown immigrants are doctors, nurses, aged care workers. We're literally keeping the health system alive. We're the ones looking after the elderly, wiping their asses, feeding them, treating them like they're our own parents. And if that's not valuable to society, then what is? And yet somehow, the same people that rely on us when they're the most vulnerable are the ones that treat us like outsiders. And that contradiction says a lot. Think about it. In the middle of COVID, who was on the front lines? So many brown nurses, brown doctors, brown cleaners, brown delivery drivers. We weren't just part of the system. We were literally the backbone of it. And yet, once the clapping stopped, the prejudice crept right back in. And that's the reality of the perpetual foreigner stereotype. We're needed, but we're never fully accepted. Now, let's turn our attention to our kids who go to school together. They play sports together, they share classrooms together. They are the next generation of this country. So if we keep treating their parents as outsiders, what are we really teaching our kids about who really belongs here? We're risking another generation where brown kids grow up feeling like they don't belong and internalizing that no matter how Aussie they are, they'll be asked to prove it. And on the flip side, what are we teaching the white kids? We're teaching them that they hold the power to choose who belongs and who doesn't. And that's not just unhealthy, that shit's dangerous. So what's the alternative? Instead of suspicion, maybe we should try understanding. Instead of snide remarks, maybe curiosity would work better. But the right kind. Not where are you really from, but rather, what's your story? There's a big difference between questioning someone's right to belong and genuinely being interested in their story. Because at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. safety, dignity, opportunity, community. We're not strangers to this place, we're a part of it. And it's not about ignoring differences. The differences are real in our faith, in our food, in our culture, but they're not barriers. They should be seen as bridges. When you approach someone with openness instead of suspicion, you get the chance to learn and they get the chance to feel seen. Imagine how different our communities would feel if kindness, not doubt, was the default. Think about it. The perpetual foreigner stereotype tells brown people, you can live here, but you'll never fully belong. But belonging isn't something you gatekeep, it's something you build together. So here's the accountability. When you look at the people around you, whether it's at work or class or on the street, do you see outsiders or do you see neighbors, colleagues, teammates, friends? Do you see the difference in that? Because the real question isn't, where are you really from? Maybe it's, how can I make you feel at home? Right here. And that's the challenge I want to leave you with. Because change doesn't just happen in the government or in the media, it happens in small everyday moments. The questions you ask, the assumptions you challenge, the space you create for others to feel like you truly belong. So here's the thing, the perpetual foreigner stereotype will only truly ever end if all of us stop carrying it forward.